and welcome to True Crime,
Tea,
and Tangents.
That worked out great.
We're getting better.
So much.
What we needed is I gotta stop clinking it. What we needed is a couple episodes of just in person to start getting like a groove.
Well, we started at a really great time, and we were consistent for the first couple, right? And then life, but we're both moms, and you decided you were going to have a baby like way sooner than you were thinking.
Kids.
I know. And we still try to be consistent, but life happens, and that's the beauty about what we're doing. We can do it, have fun with it, and still live our best lives.
Yeah.
Lives.
Lives. You were right.
Okay, good.
You were right the first time. Yeah, and it's great because like we do it just to have fun, and so if it's an episode where it's just weird and awkward, it doesn't really matter. Like we're not. It's just not the end of the world for us. This isn't our livelihood. Mm-hmm. It's just to have fun.
Yep, it's just to talk, communicate, tell story. Oh, it's so great. I love it. So we were kind of out of practice because you had that new baby, and we hadn't been like doing our little greeting. And now we've talked like 3 minutes about the fact that we finally nailed our greeting on our 7th podcast.
I'm so proud of us.
I know, me too.
It's a big moment.
Thank you. Woo.
We'll see if we can sustain it when it's over Zoom.
Yep. Well, if we do this again next week, we'll remember.
Yeah, it's more that there's that kind of delay in hearing and talking with Zoom that makes it a little bit difficult. But we're getting there.
We are.
We're in a rhythm. We're going to do it next week.
Heck yeah, we are. Look it. It's Wednesday. We're doing it.
I'm back to work. My maternity leave's over, so I can just it's way easier to skip off of work for an hour
than it is
to skip off of my children for an hour.
Right? You're like, I'm busy. I have an appointment.
So, I'm your host, Bonnie Watkins.
I'm also your host, Duca. That's it. I know I'm gonna go back.
Are you is this gonna be an every other episode situation?
Maybe.
I have a last name. I don't have a last name.
I know.
I have a last
actually
name.
might throw my middle name in there every once in a while just to kind of keep the rhythm of you're doing your first and
Keep
last
it fresh.
name. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. No,
Maybe
it's
next
good.
week.
All right. Well, what are you drinking today?
I am drinking True Blueberry. So I looked at the ingredients, and blueberry is like the 5th ingredient.
Was that one I had?
Yeah.
Sweet. Look at me go. I know my stuff.
It has, I looked at the ingredients because I was like, how blueberry is it, right?
It's true blueberry.
I know, that's what I thought. But it starts off with rose hips and like some citruses in it. And then blueberry finally happens. And then they did throw in this thing called natural flavor, which I feel like I'm not really a fan of because I don't really know what it is.
Yeah,
So
I'll be honest, because now I know it's from that like variety pack, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I still have it because I need to finish using it.
correct. And I'm helping you out with that.
I appreciate that because I've gotten tea scents that I like more.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, I can't just like chuck it. They're not bad teas.
Right.
I just need to use them up, but
Correct.
I haven't because I keep going to other
Better tea.
teas first.
I know. And I thought about that. I was like, well, but she has these really great ones. But I was like, I'm going to help her out. These have been here for a hot minute, and I understand.
Since my second baby.
And I understand the feeling because I did go through a phase too where I was like, I just want something warm without like a lot of calories and zero sugar. And I just bought those things off the shelf at the supermarket. And now I'm like, well, hoity-toity, bougie me, I want something better or different.
Yeah, when I started the process of just wanting to have like hot drinks that weren't just apple cider and hot chocolate, I was just like, this looks good, and it's not bad,
it's
right?
not bad.
And then I was doing more research, and I found my sustainably sourced tea company,
Like organic,
and I was like, oh well, this is
non-GMO.
better.
Yeah.
And so the other ones have just kind of languished.
That's a great word.
Thank you.
That's so good. And there's
I've
nothing
reorganized
wrong
my
with them.
pantry, 8 times? And I'm like, every time I'm like, I should throw them out. I'm like, no, I'll use it.
No, it's still good.
Someday.
Yeah.
My mom's coming through hard. It's still good.
It's still good. It's the Dutch in us. Like, it's still good.
You can do it. Well, mine is...
You're drinking something really fun.
It's ginger honey tea. But I just want to read... My first ingredient is cane sugar.
Oh, it's because they're trying to help you with that ginger.
But the next one is ginger and then honey. So a really sweet... I wish it didn't have this sugar. I really like ginger. Just ginger.
Just ginger.
But the thing I like about this... it's a really great tea for like if you're sick or if your throat is feeling not great. But the bags always crack me up because they have a little proverb on the back. So this one is, pleasant words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones.
Oh, that's so true.
I know. So
That's super fun.
It's also a delicious tea.
Since I am here, I'm going to try some of yours.
You should. It's got a bit of a kick to your throat. Shane does not like that. I love it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because he woke up with a little bit of a tickle in his throat. And I'm like, I have the perfect thing for you. I just drank some last night. And I got it and I made some honey in it. He's like, it's warm, Mom, but it's like the wrong kind of warm. And I'm like, gingery? He's like, yeah. I'm like, dude, I have seen what you put on your food. The jalapenos and the hot sauce and the salsas.
And also,
it's different.
You're sick. It's not the right kind of warm. It's like supposed to kind of get that vibe in your throat, right? It's supposed to set it a little bit on fire.
Bit of it's a good burn.
Yeah.
This is delicious.
I know. I gotta send you home with some of those packets because I have a whole bag, and I'm really trying. It doesn't have a lot of sugar, but I'm trying to cut back on like all of my sugar due to my poor heart health, and so I don't want to drink it as regularly. But it is the one I go to of all of them because it tastes phenomenal.
It's fantastic,
and it's got such a good ginger kick to it.
It's like dessert.
I know. It is. It's like my So I drink it a lot when I'm sick, and then I drink it when it's like the end of the day, the kids are in bed, Shane and I are just chilling, and I'm like, I want like a little treat for me.
Yeah.
Because it's really tasty.
Oh, I love that. And look, I'm not trying to bash on any sort of like, box tea you get from the supermarket. Like, that's a great place to start. Like, if you're like...
Well, and these are still good teas.
They're good. They're
just not as good as subsequent teas.
So...
It's like how I was talking to Shane about how we become bougie in our fast food tastes. Right? It's not that McDonald's or Wendy's or Burger King are like bad. It's that Chick-fil-A is better.
There you go.
Right? And so like
Chick-fil-A, feel free to sponsor us.
Yeah, you're going to be mad at me?
No, I'm not. The story wouldn't work if you went blip, blip.
But blip is better.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't work very well. But like as we've gotten older and as like we make more money and we're a little more established and we're not poor starving college students, I'm like, my taste buds deserve better than that.
Yeah.
If I'm going to get nugs,
I love that. I know, right?
I'm not going to get McDonald's nugs.
No.
And I loved them when I was in college. They were great.
That dollar sustained you.
They did. And then I got older and I was like,
I know. My sweet boy bought me some nugs on our drive down. And I was like, dude, we're headed to the land of Chick-fil-A. Why? Okay, that's cool. Thank you for the nugs. You're the best. You're a sweet boy. Thank you for buying your mom some nugs. But
I'm not eating them.
They're not that. It's just like, of course I didn't want to hurt his feelings. So I did eat the nugs. But I had to have a lot of sauce. Mom.
That's what Shane's like, why do you dip your French fries from X place into ranch? I'm like, because they don't taste good. I'm just covering it. So all I'm eating is something. It's just a carrier for ranch.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Which I also have to cut back on.
Yes, yeah. It's one of those really high sugar condiments.
It's so good.
But maybe we can make our own with like sour cream and herbs.
Well, I think, because I make my own yogurt anyway, right? So I'm thinking if I can get like one of those, I need to look into what the ingredients are and just like one of those ranch packets.
Yep.
Because I could just put that into
some yogurt.
And see if I can make my own ranch that's not quite so
sugary.
Probably not as good.
No, I don't doubt yourself. You have mad skills.
Well, it's just not as sugary.
Yeah, but that's okay. You'll have more of the herbs then.
Well, and I think too, so I'm just starting this, right? Because I've just gotten all these test results and everything from doctors, and I need to change my life. And it's genetics, by the way. It's not me. It's genetics.
She actually is a very healthy person, so she's just actually fine-tuning her health.
Yeah, because it turns out I've got very bad genetics. On my mom and my dad's side. Thanks, parents.
Thank you. Like we thanked him yesterday for not being a serial killer. After killing animals.
And it's so one of the things, because Juka is technically my half-sister, right? So my mom... I forget about that often.
All the time. Yeah.
She's my sister from another mister. Our mom was married twice, and Juka is from the first marriage, and I am from the second marriage. And so a lot of the bad genetics are from my biological father, who is not her biological father.
I skipped out on it. And they're having my sisters are having conversations about doctors, and they're like, have you done anything? And I'm like, I'm gonna... But my tests just aren't, like my past tests just haven't led me to believe that this is an urgent thing that I need to do.
Yeah.
But I'm living I'm accepting you're doing these things and you're being healthy. And I'm like, I am on board with that. Let me help you because I agree that we could fine tune our health as well.
Yeah. It's so funny because we're all, the sisters that have been able to get testing, it's all coming, like for all of us. It's not just me. It's coming back bad for all of us. And we're all just kind of talking, and Juka's like, I'm good. Really dodged that bullet.
I'm not that sassy. I'm like, hey, yeah.
No, you're super supportive, but it's just one of those things because I was like, as soon as I had the baby, I was like, okay, I need to get in for testing. And you're like, yeah, maybe in the fall.
Yeah, no, like, maybe
No
in the
rush.
fall. And you've done all this testing. I'm like, I probably am going to do it in the fall. I just want to fine tune my health first so I can start off with a good baseline. I don't know. Yeah.
I also wanted to make sure I got all my testing done while I was on maternity leave because I just had more free time.
Testing.
And it was a lot of testing. And I'd already maxed out my insurance.
Right.
So, like, I did that in January. Might as well live the rest of the year.
Now, what else can you get done?
Yeah, having a winter baby, pros and cons, right? Like, you can't really go anywhere for a long time, which is a bummer.
Which
and
is
there's all the
good, though,
sicknesses.
She doesn't get
Well, that's why
diseases.
you don't go.
Yeah.
But then you max out your insurance in the beginning of the year. Like, what can't I do?
I know. Let's go for this.
Nose job? Let's go. Let's do it.
I know. You're not actually thinking about a nose
No,
job. I didn't think so either.
Well, cosmetically, it wouldn't be covered, and I don't have a deviated septum or anything that would be covered.
Your nose is fantastic. Boop.
Thank you. I just want you all to know she booped my nose. It was a beautiful moment. But yeah, so fine-tuning health. Just what I'm going to try basically is just low carb, like all the carbs are basically from like fruits and vegetables. And then high in protein, high in unsaturated fats, like fatty fish, avocados, extra virgin olive oil.
Yep.
The good unsaturated fats, and get more blood tests done in a few months and see how it goes.
Are you going to up your omega-3s along with that?
Yeah, so that's the fatty fish.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so it's hard because Shane doesn't like fish.
Right.
So I haven't eaten it very much since I got married to him. But what I've decided to do, he works nights every other week. And so when he's working nights, I can make myself some fish. And on the days I'm not doing fish, I did find a high quality omega-3 supplement.
Perfect. Great.
And then I'm going to start taking.
Awesome. Good.
So
Those are great things. Also, I think that our younger brother, your older brother, my younger brother, didn't he just graduate with like some sort of master's degree in like functional medicine or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah, I do talk to him about a lot of things.
He's very gung-ho in sharing information right now.
And sometimes it's a little bit like drinking from a fire hose.
It is. Like,
so every now and again, I need to be like,
let me absorb.
I'm just going to do my own thing.
Yeah.
And when I feel like stable in that, we'll talk.
Yeah.
But he is putting together, because he's also a licensed personal trainer. So he's putting together a workout plan for me too.
Oh, awesome. With your specific...
Yeah, like for me specifically, not just like... Because I had Chat GPT throw together one for me, which was pretty good, but it wasn't like specifically tailored to, I just had a baby and I'm recovering postpartum and yada, yada, yada. And his is going to be.
Nice.
And he's doing it for free.
Yeah, he's very generous. I love that.
He is very generous.
With
and also he calls me on the regular to ask for favors. So
you're like, I have no problem with this.
I don't mind taking it from him.
Yeah. Nah, he likes to practice, I think, too.
He does. He does. And he is very generous.
So I love that too. I'm always like, hey, what do you think about this? And he'll send me like 3 YouTube videos. I'm like, cool. So in a week, when I get those all watched, I'll reply to you.
Yeah. Well, and it's both Tom, which is the brother we were talking about, and Chuck too. When Chuck found out about my high lipoprotein little a, he sent me like 4 links about things that I could do to naturally lower it, different places. And then he sent me, when he found out the doctors had prescribed me a statin, which I have decided to not take, which is a whole other kettle of fish. He sent me all this information about like what, how statins naturally deplete CoQ10s. And then he did a bunch of research about like how to find a good, really beneficial supplement, because a lot of supplements, they're not FDA regulated or anything, so you can have good companies and bad companies. So he went and did a bunch of research until he found a company that he felt really good about, and then sent me the link.
Awesome. I was
for
going to
those
say,
supplements.
I'll bet that he has, like, I know that I have a really good omega-3 that I love, and I know he does the same thing, and they're 2 different things. So what I love that he researches his supplements really hard.
Yeah, and he's also in the medical field, right? He got his doctorate in chiropractic. And he's done a bunch of additional schooling since then. And so I trust that he's done his work more thoroughly than I would have been able to.
Right.
So I actually did just buy some CoQ10 supplements for my heart from the company he recommended. So I'll start taking those too, and we'll see how it goes.
Nice. Good plans.
Yeah. I like that we front-loaded our tangent today.
We did, right at the beginning, and it all sprung from our bougie beverage tastes and whatnot.
That's how we live our lives.
Okay, so spill the tea, Bon. What do you got for me?
Today, I wanted to do something a little bit different, maybe a little bit less serial killer-y, because we've had a couple of those, a little bit less depressing.
We have. I actually still think about our first serial killer a lot. And I'm like, babe, Did you know about this serial killer? Like, nobody knows about him. Like, I cannot wait for you to listen to our podcast about this serial killer.
Yeah, don't tell him too much. He has to listen.
I know, I didn't tell him. It's just crazy.
I told Shane, I was like, he's not a true crime person. And so I'm like, you don't have to like listen, but you have to play it through all the way on your phone. Mm-hmm. That's how you can show me your support.
Right.
Lance has to listen.
I need you to, like, if you love me, just like and subscribe and play it through all the way on your phone. Like, you don't even have to listen to it, just play it through.
Yeah, you can have it on mute. You can go do something different.
Like, yeah.
I don't care.
Push play.
Just like, subscribe, and play. That's what I need. I don't even know. I think you just need to let it be downloaded onto your phone. I don't even know if you need to listen to it.
I'm just saying.
But Lance, I think, needs to listen to it.
Yeah. And I know that Isabel is very invested in it.
Oh,
and
she's so sweet.
She has like got her whole, like, she works at Starbucks in our little town. And she's got her whole team. They're like, well, we could get T-shirts, and we're excited. When is it going to come out? So
we are actually because we've been building up a base, right? So this is our 6th
because
or 7th.
Our life, right? We want to be consistent, but also
and we haven't actually released any yet. But it's so funny because we've been working on this for months, and so it feels like it's a thing we just put out there, but we've only put it out to each other.
Yep.
But this week, I think that's going to change.
I think so.
Kind of a big week.
It is. It's exciting.
So to celebrate that happiness,
yes,
I wanted to do a survivor story.
Yes. I didn't even know we were going to do those. I'm super excited.
Yeah, so it is still like sad, and it is still got terrible details, but she survives.
But
so
still upbeat.
Surprisingly upbeat. So I thought you would like that.
Yep.
It's something where you can just go into like breathe a little bit easier because through all the bad, there's will be
of sunshine.
a ray of good at the end. So I want to tell you the story of Abby Hernandez.
Okay.
She was kidnapped.
See, a rough start.
Spent more than 9 months in captivity.
How old was she when she was kidnapped?
14.
Oh, okay.
But she was able to escape.
Oh, good for her.
So, Abigail, but she went by Abby Hernandez, was 14 years old the day that she was kidnapped by a man named Nate Kirby. So she was a freshman at Kennett High School in North Conway, which is a small town in New Hampshire, population around 2,000.
It's tiny.
And every day she just would walk to and from school.
Yeah.
And on October 9th, 2013, no different. The school librarian saw her leave campus around 2:30, and she just started walking her usual route home. What was different that day is Abby was breaking in a new pair of shoes that she'd gotten, a new pair of boots. And so her feet were just killing her. Ugh. She had some blisters, and they were just hurting. And so she's walking home, and a guy who's driving a pickup truck is like, hey, do you want to ride home? Small town, trusting atmosphere. And she's like, yes, thank you so much. That would be great. It wasn't going to be a far ride. He was a local resident. But as soon as she got in the car, Nate Kibby, I said Kirby before, but it's Kibby.
Okay. How do you spell that?
Kibby.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I read it as an R, but it's a B. He pulled a gun on her and he threatened her, saying that if you try to scream or try to escape, there will be consequences.
Okay, so in that situation, what would you do?
Oh, I would 100% jump out that door.
Oh, absolutely. I'd take my chances.
Yeah, because the thing is, so and I wasn't able to find, because I was thinking about this. Sometimes people will plan ahead and they'll pull out the mechanism, like the door handle and stuff, so you can't. Open the door.
Very premeditated.
But he doesn't seem like he was quite that smart.
It was like a crime of opportunity.
Yeah, a bit, I think, and also he just doesn't seem that smart.
Okay.
But if I was in a situation, and this is what I want to say, right? And I feel like if I tell myself this enough time and like practice it in my head, then that'll be like true if that ever happens. But it takes actually a surprising, like you can fire a gun quickly, but the decision to fire a gun, right, takes quite a bit of time. And if you, like the car's moving, you're going to sustain injuries from jumping out of a moving car, of course. But if like the car is moving and someone pulls a gun on you and says, if you escape, I'm going to try and shoot you. They're going to try to
distracted.
Well, they're going to try to kill me at some point, almost certainly anyway.
Right, exactly. And so that's what I'm like, you're going to kill me now or later, but at least I will choose how I go.
Yeah, like I mean, maybe, so like, but if you just, in that instant, you just like open the door and fling yourself out,
right? Probably
they're going to be too shocked to immediately shoot you. But also, if they do, I would rather, I think, I mean, it's hard because there's always a possibility of survival. But knowing that the odds are very high that I would either get raped or killed or both. I would take my chances with trying to escape.
Right. Yeah. And in my mind, I'm thinking that even though they have this gun and they're threatening, if the car is in motion, they are still pretty distracted.
Yeah, like they're still driving.
Yeah. So I would take my chances as well.
Yeah.
Okay, you let us know what you would do in that situation.
Yeah, and like it's not a right or a wrong.
No,
right?
absolutely. Just a human curiosity. Like, how would that play out in your mind?
And it is. I mean, there's the 4Fs, right? There's fight, flight, freeze, or fawn.
Mm-hmm, correct.
And so there's just like everybody's biological systems are going to kind of just instinctively go to one of those four
things.
options, mm-hmm. right? And it's not that there's right or wrong. It's just who you are.
Right. And I think you hit the nail on the head. If you practice that, like if I think about this scenario and this is what I'm going to do, you have a higher chance of overcoming what might be a detrimental
yes.
reaction that your body does naturally to something that will help you to survive.
Yes. And that's what I think, like Shane and I talk about this, if somebody broke into our home, like we have a whole plan and we occasionally run through it about what we would do, because I think instinctively, if somebody broke into my home, well, I have kids now, so I would just run straight to their rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And just like protect them.
Right.
But we have a whole plan that is safer long-term for our children than me just running around making a bunch of noise, alerting an intruder to exactly where we are.
Exactly.
Right. So I would have to fight kind of that natural instinct to just loudly and quickly run and gather my children and wake them up and get them screaming and frightened.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
gather all your hens under your
exactly.
Your little not your hens.
But
gather all your little chicks under your
wings. Yeah. Because that's the way it becomes second nature.
Yep.
And that's what cops have to do, right? You run toward, it is not second nature to run towards danger.
Correct.
But that's what their job is to do. Mm-hmm. And so they have to practice and train out those natural instincts.
Right.
So
that's great. That's great things, because if there's ever, you can do the same thing with fire or earthquake or any sort of, you have a plan.
Yeah.
Practice the
plan.
Our
natural disaster plan.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
I remember doing some family activities with you when I was younger and your kids were younger, and we would do like fire escape drills and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's good times.
Yeah. Isabel is like, I need to go to counseling. They were so traumatic. And I'm like, oh boy, girl, they weren't that bad. We just stood by a door and said, fire, fire, fire.
Yeah. I mean, I was older than her, granted, by about 15 years.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember any trauma associated with those.
Sorry, I'm not trying to lessen her remembrance, but I was like, maybe let me explain to you what happened and you can maybe remember it like in a different way.
We were just trying to keep you safe.
Yeah. And now look at you, you're healthy. You know what to do in an emergency. Sorry. Tell us about Abby.
So Abby, her method, and again, no right or wrong to try and get out of it, was to try and reassure him, kind of be friendly with him, be agreeable. And so she said, I don't judge you for what you're doing. If you should let me go, I won't tell anybody. You seem really smart, but it didn't work. He handcuffed her and tied a shirt over her head and broke her phone.
Ooh.
So she did try at some point, like after she tried to kind of peek through the shirt and to see where she was, but he saw her trying to look and fired a stun gun at her leg.
Oh my.
And, to like punish her and like stop it. So Kibby eventually drove her to his home in Gorham, New Hampshire, which is about 30 miles north of Abby's home.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so she it was 3 days before her 15th birthday that she was kidnapped.
Oh.
And she would spend the next 9 months held in a small storage shed on this property 30 miles from her home.
Oh my goodness.
So she goes missing. Her mom immediately knows something's wrong, right? She's texting her daughter's phone. She's not getting a response. She drove to the high school to see if she could find her. She spoke to the librarian, who said, yeah, I saw her leave. She was walking her usual route home. So she started to try to drive that route home because maybe she got injured or she's hurt or something. She calls the hospital, like nothing. So finally at 7 p.m. that evening, her mom, Xenia, files a missing persons report with the police department, and it hits the local television news the next day. So back on the shed in Gorham, right, Nate Kibby is sexually assaulting her, repeatedly abusing her. He covers her eyes with tape, a shirt, and a motorcycle helmet, so he can't see her face at all before he assaults her. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then he puts a shock collar on her.
Oh my gosh.
So that she can't scream, or if she does, right, she's going to get
shocked.
That sustained shock. Mm-hmm. And he makes her try it so that she knows that it's going to shock her and that it's going to work. He has a master's like security camera in the shed that's like on her at all times. He demands that she call him master.
Creepy.
It's so
Gross,
creepy.
gross.
Like it's absolutely gross. Like completely cuts off her access to sunlight, fresh air. You know, and the news of her disappearance is spreading. Like there's stories on local media outlets and news sites and everything. And then he makes her watch news coverage of her investigation.
Oh my word.
And he makes her watch like her mom pleading on air for her safe return. And like he's just getting
horrible.
His kicks off of all of this. Like it's so disgusting.
Yeah, that's gross, gross, gross.
And so the FBI get involved. Trying to find Abby became one of the biggest missing persons investigations in New Hampshire's history, but they couldn't find anything. Like there was no clues. There was
There's
nothing. Like,
nothing
nobody was
that links
around when
them.
she got taken. Yeah, and there was just nothing. So the news and the media outlet was getting pretty big. So about 2 weeks after Kibby took her, he made her write a letter to her mom to like be like, oh, I just ran
Can't
away
live here
type of
anymore.
a thing.
It's too, yeah.
And so she tried to she was writing a first draft, and she tried to like scratch just into the paper the word help, like I just imprinted into the back of the paper with her fingernail. But he noticed it and like just viciously attacked her, assaulted her, beat her before making her start a new draft. So she wrote a letter per his demands, postmarked October 13th, 2013, and it got to her mom's house on November 6th. And the letter says, "Dear Mom, I miss you and love you so much more than you could imagine. I'm sorry I did this. I've seen the newspapers and TV news, and to answer your questions, yes, I'm alive. I'm safe and I'm healthy. I really miss you, Mom, but I won't tell you where I am. I love you so much. Please stay strong for me. I'm staying strong for you. I've come to realize that along with love and courage, hope can speak louder than fear. Please don't lose hope. Hang in there for me, Mom. I had a dream where I came home and gave you the biggest hug ever. I don't know if it matters, but I like to think that it does. Please don't..." Sorry, this piece of paper. "Please don't forget that I love you.
Yeah.
Please give Sarah a hug for me and tell her that I love and miss her very much. I pray and hope that your dreams will come true. Love, Abby." So it was something that was so hard for her mom, because her mom was like, it's her handwriting.
Right.
But it doesn't something is wrong. Something is
yeah,
off.
the way she's talking, the way her words are.
But the letter doesn't say, because she wasn't allowed to, like, I've been held captive. I've been kidnapped. I'm being assaulted daily. Like, it doesn't say anything like that. And so Xenia, Abby's mom, she gave the letter to the police, and they tested it, and the DNA and everything, and it came from Abby. But they have no idea, like, they didn't know, did she send it without her captor's knowledge? Did she send it with his permission or by his force? Like, you know, and if they weren't sure what to do, because they're like, well, if we release it and he doesn't know she sent it,
right,
she could get in
big trouble.
Yeah, she could be in worse danger. So they decided to hold on to the letter for 1 month before releasing it to the public. But it was really interesting. So the police, from what I can tell, never thought that letter meant that she had left voluntarily.
Right. That's cool. They knew that it was like...
But when they released it to the public, the public got furious.
Really?
Yeah, they decided that this was just a confession that she'd run away.
Oh, my word.
That she wasn't a kidnapping victim. A lot of the social media people and like people that have been like, oh, you gotta find her, they're like, oh, she's the worst, like, I can't believe we wasted time and resources. Some people tried to demand that, you know, Abby's family pay for all the resources the police and FBI had spent to try and find her.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and despite enduring that, like, Abby's friends and family knew that she was like, that she did not run away.
This
is not like her. This letter was not her saying, yeah, I'm fine, I ran away.
Right.
And so
she doesn't ever say that in the letter.
Yeah. No. And I think some of the things, especially like, please don't lose hope. Hang in there for me. I had a dream where I came home.
I gave you the biggest hug ever.
Like, if you had left voluntarily, why wouldn't you just go home?
Right.
Right. And so, but the Attorney General's office, law enforcement agencies, they were not with the public. They were not with social media. They're like, this does not ring right. Like, something is still wrong. She's being held captive. What we know now, at least, is that she was alive as of the time she wrote this letter.
You know, what's interesting, it makes me a lot more cautious and more conscious about reacting or overreacting to stuff I see on the news or social media, because we very, very, very rarely are the police giving us the whole picture.
Yeah.
They're giving you parts that they think could help them find whoever or help them in whatever case, but you're not getting the whole picture.
No, and the thing is too, like, there was a case not that long ago about a gal who went missing. She was supposed to be on a flight from California to New York, and she never did, and everybody assumed it was really, really bad. And then it turned out she had voluntarily left. And she got so much hate for leaving, for worrying her friends and family, for starting this nationwide manhunt. And like, yes, maybe she should have like been like, hey guys, I want to peace out for a while.
Quick text just to let you know. No, I'm not coming back.
Like, it's like, that's not how I wouldn't just disappear.
Right.
Right. But people do still have a right to live life
as they want to.
Now, obviously, as a 14-year-old versus a full-grown adult, like,
yes,
there's a different situation there. But I just don't. I think it's important that people try to look, right? That, like, if you assume someone's missing and you put resources into it, but then if it does turn out that they're okay, like, just be happy that they're okay. You know, we put resources into things that turns out to be a waste of time
all the time. All the time.
That is the name of government. Like, so I just don't. And in this case, obviously, she actually had been kidnapped.
And is being assaulted brutally daily.
Yeah, and is enduring just terrible, terrible situations. So, you know, time is passing every month. Abby, she was so strong. It was incredible to me because she's 15 at this point. She never loses hope that she's going to make it out.
That's incredible. That's a mindset. That is how you... I did take a survival course one time when I was a little bit younger, and they're like, listen... The first 30 seconds decides whether you live or die. And everybody's like, jotting down these notes. And what is it? And it's like, it's your mindset. Are you going to live or die? Do I decide to live or die? Or am I going to lay here and die?
Yeah.
Like, and you have to make that. Sometimes you have to keep making that mindset. Every time you wake up, every time you stand up, every time there's the next decision. That's always the first decision. Am I going to live or die? And
she credits a lot of it to her faith. She said she prayed frequently throughout her captivity. And she says in one interview she conducted later, she said, I remember praying to God, and I remember I never said amen. I never wanted to end my prayers because I didn't want God to leave me.
Oh, wow.
And so she just, in her mind, she just had like kind of a constant, always running prayer. And that was something that was enabling her to like hold on to hope that she would be able to get out of this, that things would be okay. So part of what she tried to do, right, because she wasn't just, she knew she had to do something to help get out of it. So she tried to learn more about Nate Kibbe to gain his trust. You know, over time, he allowed her to read books that he had in the house. She learned his name after seeing it, like in a book that he had given to her. And she reminded him every now and again, just not like pushy, but just kind of like a hey, casual, like, hey, if you let me go, like, I won't tell anybody about you. I won't share who you are.
It'll all be over.
And she said that she just kind of did whatever he told her to do as part of that. Like, look, I'm compliant. Look, I'll do what you want. You can trust me. I'll go along with it. Right. So about 8 months or so after the kidnapping, Nate Kibbe got involved with a counterfeiting operation.
He's stellar guy.
Oh yeah. Well, that's like small potatoes after kidnapping and sexually assaulting somebody.
Right. Yeah. He's like, well, counterfeiting, that's just gravy.
But he told Abby she had to help him, and she was like, okay, yeah, I'll help you. So a sex worker that he had paid with counterfeit money, which is crazy to me that he has this girl that he's like
sexually assaulting,
and then he's like got a sex worker that he's paying. It's just what is his mindset?
Gross. It's gross. It's a gross mindset.
Gross. It is gross. So anyway, he had paid this sex worker with counterfeit money. She tried to use the bills at a local Walmart,
and the Walmart was like, no.
And then police learned about the counterfeiting operation, and so the sex worker was like, look, Nate, they're coming for you. Like, whatever you're making with the money, like, they're going to come search your house because I told them I got it from you, type of a thing.
She told him that?
Yeah. The sex worker
like, they're friends? Like, by the way.
I'm guessing there was, I don't know, maybe she was just angry at him, right? Because he had paid her with.
And so she was like, they're coming down
on you. Yeah, she's like, you tried to do this to me, but guess what? Like, joke's on you because now the police are coming your way.
Yeah, but then he can get rid of, I don't know. I'd be like, surprise attack, sneak attack.
Sucker. Well, there is a little bit of honor amongst thieves, maybe. I don't know. Not that sex workers are thieves, but... Yeah. So then, like, realizing that the police are going to be coming, and I guess in part just because it had been 9 months at this point, maybe he did trust her, maybe there had been some weird form of fondness for her in his heart, he just let her go.
Wow.
On July 20th, 2014, he released her on an abandoned road not far from where he had kidnapped her. And he drives away, and she's looking up, and she's like, can't believe it.
Right.
Right. Like
Because she's thinking, I would be thinking he's taking me down this abandoned road because he's going to kill me.
Yeah.
This is it.
And even like if he like opens the door, kicks you out, you're like, so is it going to be like the most dangerous game? Or are you going to track me? Like what?
Right. What is?
But so
what
he
is
just drives away
here?
and she's like looking around and she's just laughing. She's like, I can't believe this. And so she realizes as she's looking around, she's just a mile from home.
What?
And
That's
so
incredible.
after 284 days, like she walks the rest of the way home, and she can, she's walking up to her doorstep. She hears her mom talking on the phone, and she just opens the door and says, "Mom." And like her mom just runs out, and they're just like hugging each other and just like the best dream. I'm like getting goosebumps because they were just so like, and having kids, right? Just could you imagine?
You would think that you were dreaming. Like it would just be, and you just would never want to let go of them.
As a mom, you would have pictured that moment. Like you would hear her voice in your head all the time. Right? Because you're just looking and hoping and praying.
And you'd hear her everywhere. Yeah.
So, despite what Abby had told Nate, obviously to placate him, she went to the police and she was like, yeah, here's what happened. Here's who he is. So a week after she returned home, he was arrested. He faced a total of 205 charges. And he initially pleaded not guilty.
Oh, okay.
What a shocker.
Yeah.
But he did agree to a plea agreement later to 7 felony charges, which included felonious aggravated sexual assault, kidnapping, witness tampering, and criminal threatening. And then all the other charges were dropped as part of the agreement, which is standard, right? But
I'm like, no, charge him with everything.
Yeah, it's actually a lot of people that were involved in the case, including the judge, thought that the agreement was way too lenient.
What's the prosecuting attorney even thinking?
Well, so his reasoning and what he said was that one of the best things that he could do for Abby, especially given her age, is to do a plea agreement so she didn't have to go to trial. She didn't have to testify to every awful, degrading thing that Kibby had done to her. Because a plea agreement... And it came, the trial was set to begin in a month.
Right.
So it came right up against the wire that they came to this agreement. I would imagine, at least from my experience as a prosecutor, you don't do these type of plea agreements without working with the victim. Right. So I would certainly imagine that she was very involved and that she kind of signed off on it. They don't have to get her approval.
Right.
But most of the times they will be like, are you okay with this? Would you rather go to trial? Right. It's not going to be a case where they lose.
Right.
She can identify him. She can testify. She can convict him.
Yes.
With the strength of her testimony. It's a question of, do you want to do that, or are you okay with this outcome?
Right.
So I hope that
not
she
for
was
Abby's sake.
She was a part of those conversations, and that she was like, hey, I'm okay with this.
Good.
So court documents throughout this case, Nate Kibby, he threatened the assistant attorney general. He threatened
how's that going to work out? What's the mindset there?
Well, and how you've been arrested.
You've been arrested, and everything you say is being recorded. Or if it's not being recorded, it's the prosecuting attorney's testimony against your testimony. You don't have as much weight as you think you do.
Well, and that's because he threatened to kill Abby's family and her dogs if she ever identified him to the police. After he's it's just you're so stupid,
right?
Everything you say on a jail phone line is recorded. They tell you that at the beginning of the phone conversation. Mm-hmm. Everything you write is read. Mm-hmm. But. So almost 2 years after she returned home, Kibby was sentenced, and Abby was able to give a victim impact statement at his sentencing. And part of it, this is part of what she wrote. I just thought it was really
poignant.
Yeah, and especially for a 17-year-old.
Yes.
It seems like forever. 2 years have gone by, both fast and slow in different senses. But I often think about Kibby, and what he did affects my life on a day-to-day basis. My name does not mean the same thing anymore that it did before October 9th. I'm attending school, and I'm afraid to let anybody know what my last name is. Nobody knows what my last name is. I did not put you in prison. You put yourself in prison. Amen. So I can't carry that blame on my shoulders when it's simply not true that I put you in prison. When you decided to point that gun at me, that was not my choice. It was not my choice to go to your house. It was not my choice for you to rape me. It was not my choice for you to threaten me. You did all of that yourself. There are certain aspects of my freedom that I can never get back. But in that same aspect, I want you to know that I appreciate my freedom because of you. and that I enjoy and appreciate life because of you.
Dang.
I never look at sunshine the same way. I never think about fresh air the same way.
Dang. I'm going to cry.
And
That's amazing.
Isn't that just, it's so like...
Wow. Her attitude is incredible.
I know.
Incredible.
Like to
she
go
is
through
not
that.
a victim.
No, and she is so... And I do think part of it because she had that sustaining hope and faith, right? She was like, I am going to get through this. I believe in a God that's going to help me get through this. And then once she's through it, which like you're really just starting your process of recovery, she relied on that same hope and that same faith to be like, okay, now I have to work on actually recovering from this.
Correct.
But she tackled it the same way she tackled the everyday, I'm going to get through this, I'm going to survive, I'm going to escape. As soon as she did manage to get out of the situation, she's like, okay, now I'm going to rebuild a life. Now I'm going to recover. Now I'm going to take the control of my own life and not sit back and, you know, let it ruin the rest of my life, which it could. And like 100%. Justifiably it could.
Yes, absolutely.
So Nate Kibbe was asked multiple times about why. Why did you do this? Why Abby? What was in your brain? He's never given a reason for that. He was sentenced to 45 to 90 years in prison, so fixed 45.
Definitely 45. Up to 90.
Up to 90. And so will probably die incarcerated. So today, Abby Hernandez lives in Maine. I knew you were going to ask, so I did some research. She has a little boy. She works as a hairdresser. In February of 2022, a Lifetime movie about her survival story premiered, and she served as an executive producer on the film.
Wow.
And worked super closely with the actress who portrayed her.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
She said that it was very difficult to produce a movie about the worst experiences of her life, but she found it healing to get the story out on her own terms. And that is the story of Abby Hernandez.
The heroine of her own life.
Yeah. Who survived the worst possible thing that anybody could be asked to survive.
Wow. Amazing.
I know. Isn't it just like so inspiring?
I know. Like she chooses life. Yeah. And she chooses life every single day.
Every day. Like not just while she's in captivity, but every day after.
Yes.
Like she doesn't sit home cowering.
Right.
Worried about what could happen, which would be so easy to do.
It's unnatural, right?
Yes.
To be afraid of every person who drives by, or every person who pauses, or every person who looks at you.
And honestly, like I want to say that I could do that. I think I could. But like to have a child after that, like I would be so terrified to ever let my child out of my sight. Like we were talking last night, right, about free range parenting. And just kind of letting kids be kids and letting kids go and play like in a safe space, but like letting them go away from you. And that is a philosophy that I wholly embrace. It would be much harder for me to embrace that if, as a child, I had been kidnapped.
And assaulted. Over 200 days.
Yeah. I'd be like, yeah, that's nice. You're never leaving my sight.
Yeah. Like we're basically like, we have the wrist leashes.
Like, I don't know if I'd be able to have a child because I would just know that I'd be freaked out all of the time.
Wow. So she's not like, now she's choosing life not only for herself, but also for her son.
Because she's amazing.
She's amazing. Way to go, Abby. Abby Hernandez, our hero.
Yeah, so she's in her mid-20s now.
Oh, wow.
Living her life, being an inspiration to literally everybody.
And making the world a beautiful place.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so proud of her.
I know, isn't she amazing?
That's an incredible story.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I thought we deserved an upper.
Yeah. It was still horrible, but also surprisingly upbeat. So a couple questions. When you talk about the 45 to 90, does that mean does he get an option? Does he come up for parole?
In 45 years.
In 45 years, okay. Remind me how old he was, did we say?
I did not say, I don't know.
Okay.
But he was in his 30s, I believe.
Okay.
So 45 fixed, it's called fixed and indeterminate. So it's 45 years fixed and then another 45 indeterminate.
Right.
That math to 90, right? Yeah, it does.
It does.
And so when he is in his late 70s-ish,
right,
he'll be eligible for parole. A crime like this, and it depends a little bit too, like 45 years is going to be a long time for Abby to keep track of the case, right? Or anything. Yeah. But before, in this type of situation, before, like when he comes up for parole, and the parole board hears his argument for why he should be paroled, they also have a legal obligation to let any surviving victims know and give them a chance to come and speak to it as
to
well. As to why he should or should not.
Right.
Okay. If some people are like, no, I think he should, I think he's done his time, I think he should have a chance. Or if they're like, no I still carry this trauma every single day and he can never be released into society, right?
Mm-hmm. And just because he's 70 doesn't mean he's not going to try to do something terrible again.
Yeah. So, but it is going to be a hot second, right? She has a chance to live her life and to breathe freely, knowing that he will be behind bars until she is in her 50s, for sure.
Right.
And that even if he got out in 45 years, he will be an old, frail man. Mm-hmm. Which, not that old people can't be a danger.
Correct. Like, we're equal opportunity.
Again, women, men, old people, young people, everybody can be a danger. But it is less likely. And I mean, at that point, he will have become institutionalized. He won't know how to live life really on the outside anyway. Yeah. It's almost rude in a way to release like a 70-something-year-old man who spent more of his life in prison than out of prison out into the world. They don't know how to live. No. Think of how much the world has changed in the last 45 years.
Well, think about how much the world has changed in the last 5 years. Yeah. So, yeah, for reals, though. For reals.
So that is the story of Abby Hernandez.
That is incredible. Another quick question about that shed. Did he keep her in this shed the entire 9 months?
Basically.
So it's New Hampshire. I have been there at various seasons. Not warm.
No, not in the wintertime. And she was kidnapped right before winter started.
Right.
I would imagine because he let her have very limited fresh air and sunshine. Mm-hmm. So I think there was a period of time every day that she was maybe allowed to go out supervised. Right. I don't know. I didn't find anything that spoke to this. I imagine there had to have been a heater.
A space heater of some sort.
Something in there, because otherwise she would have frozen to death.
Exactly.
And there was electricity there because there was a camera. Right. There was a camera that he had trained on her. And so I imagine there had to have been something to keep it warm enough that she did not die of exposure. Yeah. But it was a windowless shed. Right. It wasn't an insulated shed. It was just like a little shed on a property.
Right. So I was wondering maybe he got like one of those fancier wooden tough sheds and put like some insulation or something in there. But that would be way too much.
Yeah. I don't think he's worried about her comfort.
No. Apparently. Really? No mints on the pillow? Yeah, jerk. Okay, yeah, I was just curious about that because I was like, you said October and it was New Hampshire, and I'm like, gets chilly.
It does, and she was captive snowy for all of the winter months. Yes, right. It was in June.
Mm-hmm. She lost so she lost that whole year of schooling. Like, how do we even go back to school after that?
And I believe she went to a different school. Mm-hmm. I would go to a different school, right? But you do. I would be homeschooled.
All right. I'm like, you know what? GED sounds great right now. I'll just, skip this bit, get my GED.
But yeah, it is just one of those things where you're like, whoa. Right? Because you have to catch up on education, learning. You've been held back a year now,
Well, and as much as your friends love you, the relationship is dramatically changed.
They cannot relate to you the same way.
Not at all.
They just can't. It's not that they don't want to. They can't.
Yeah, and then you got to find those special people who you're willing to share that burden with, or that you can tell, like, express yourself, get those things off your chest, and they won't carry it as a burden.
And I think that's part of the reason that she found some of that closure in doing the Lifetime movie, because it gets her story out there in a way that she was able to have control over the story and a lot of control over how it's produced and how it's made, and it gets it out there, but there's not like a person that has to carry the weight of that.
Right, and there's not like a million different people individually. She's not telling that story individually, a million times.
But it gets it out. It gets her the ability to tell her story on her terms, and then she can let it go, as much as she's able to let it go, right?
And heal in that process. Mm-hmm. Wow, Abby Hernandez, amazing woman.
Yeah, she's the GOAT.
Yeah. Dang. What year did this happen?
2013.
2013. Maniacs. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, she's in her mid-20s now. Just being awesome. Just living her best life. I don't know her. I've never met her. I'll never meet her. I'm so proud of her.
I know. I just want to I kind of want to take a trip to Maine and randomly hug Abby Hernandez and be like, "You're my hero.
Like, you are an inspiration.
You choose life every day.
And you chose hope. You chose to survive."
Dang, I love it. Thank you for sharing that.
Her mom had to be proud of her.
Oh,
right?
heck
Like,
yeah.
that she raised a daughter that was that strong.
Stay alive? Yeah. I love it. You know what? That's amazing, because a lot of people, if they choose to give up, and they've done studies on animals, which is sad but also interesting, because animals who get stuck places and are hurt in those stuck places, even when the doors are open and they could leave, they don't. They're not only stuck physically when the door is closed, but when the door is open, they're stuck mentally. Like they can't change their circumstances. And so many of us do the same thing. That's a mammalian trait, right? And that she chose that to fight all the time was incredible.
Yeah. Have you ever read the book Who Moved My Cheese?
Yes.
It's same but different, right? This concept of like, because that's obviously much less life or death than Abby's was, but this like, you know, you're a mouse in a maze and your cheese is in the same spot. It's always in the same spot. And then one day the mean scientists move it, right? And you have some mice that just every single day they still go back to that same spot in the maze,
and they starve to death. And
then there are some that for whatever reason immediately start running through the maze to try and find the new spot where the cheese is. Mm-hmm. And how in life, right, like sometimes things happen and your cheese gets moved.
Yep.
Are you going to waste your life repeatedly going back to that same spot, or are you going to immediately be like, okay, let me find my new cheese?
Yep. Where's the cheese now?
Like that is gone. That cheese is gone.
Mm-hmm.
I need to find new cheese.
Yep.
And Abby found new cheese.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yep. I love that. So, you know, E plays with G, and G's a lot younger. He's 20 and she's 4, and he'll be like, he can pick her up and move her around, right? And I'm always like, G, keep fighting, fight for what you want. But I just want all my nieces and nephews to be like, if you want something, even if somebody bigger is trying to come and move you away from the thing you want, right? Or take you someplace you don't want to go. Keep fighting.
Yeah, don't settle for that.
Yeah, keep fighting.
You live your life.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You show them who's boss.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, it is just, and I think an important trick to try and teach everybody when they're little, right, is just you dictate your life. You don't always dictate the circumstances. So many things happen outside your control.
Yep, exactly.
But you dictate your reactions. And if you're gonna choose hope, if you're gonna choose life, if you're gonna choose to find your new cheese.
Yep. Never keep fighting. Never stop fighting.
So yeah. That's our story for today.
That's so good. All right, thanks, Bon.
Yeah. Well, until next time, since we already did our tangents and we're running it, almost an hour. That's perfect time. It is a perfect time. So until next time, our favorite listeners, keep your tea hot.
And your curiosity hotter.